Hi guys, my name is Motorcycle Wanderer or Barry, and thank you very much for tuning in for first ever episode of A History of Two Wheels. So really excited to start this project, just really short videos and going into some of the history to make models. So hit me up in the comments of the YouTube and hit up our Instagram and leave me know some ideas. So just for our first one, we're going to be going into 10 unusual or unique motorcycles. So these are ones that are bit different from the norm or quite unique. Some of them might have been pioneering, some of them complete flops, but they're just unusual. There's plenty more than 10, so I've just broken the list down to what I can here. So with that, let's get started. The Michaux Perreaux steam Velicple, excuse my pronunciation. So this was probably the reason it's on this list is it's the first mass-produced motorcycle. So it's the first one that we can say it was mass-produced. Now it is up for some level of debate. This is created by Louis Guillaume Perreaux, small commercially available engine, which was fitting to the Michaux bicycle frame. So very much starting with an alteration to bicycles, but making that it was an engine attached to it. This was produced in 1868 to 1871 in France. Several hundred a year of these were sold, making it believed to be the first production motorcycle. The Oxford English Dictionary and others include having an internal combustion engine as the criterion for being the first produced motorcycle. So this definition works for nearly the entire 20th century until electric motorcycles. So based upon that, we will be saying that this is probably one of the first mass-produced, as it was the internal combustion engine. So quite unique. I wouldn't say that it's been followed, but very much one of the groundbreaking during that period. So next up we have what's called the Majestic motorcycles. Now, based on the picture alone, you can see why these are here. If you're Art Deco lover or Art Nouveau, you can see why. Like, absolutely very unique look to them. One that didn't come forward. They were produced by George Roy. He built his first machines in 1923. They called the New Motorcycle, quite original. And these were not a success. In 1929, he started producing the Majestics, and he sold these rights in 1930 to Channel concern, who manufactured the famous French Mark dollar. Now, the Majestic was a popular name in the beginning of the 20th century amongst most vehicles. You can see why, kind of what the name enters. This motorcycle pushed the boundaries of styling with a streamlined body, duplex steering, and air-cooled 350cc engine. Over a period of 5 years, roughly 100 Majestic motorcycles were produced, powered by these 350 and 500cc single-cylinder engines from Chase, Jap, and they were V-twins, 4-cylinder engines from Cleveland. The Chase narrow-angle V4 engine may have been fitted to some Majestic machines, but it's unclear as to whether this was the case. Production of these, to be honest, absolutely gorgeous-looking machines ceased in 1933 when Dollar went out of business. Around 10 examples have survived in the world, and it's clearly a beautiful model, so they're quite rare. And this includes an exceptional machine with a Bernadette sidecar. I'll show that picture up here. Again, in here, just based on the looks alone, it's quite unique and absolutely a stunning bike. The Bohmerland. So the Czech Bohmerland was built in 1925 to 1939 with heavy duty use in mind. As you can see, it has a bit of a behemoth, and with all the extra frame on it, it is quite a massive bike, so you can see where the idea comes. These massive steel double cradle frame house the 598cc single cylinder OHV 4-stroke engine. Twin fuel tanks were mounted to the rear of the frame, with some models designed to sit 3 people, which is quite a unique aspect. The Bohmerland was produced in several wheelbases: a 2-seat sport, a 3-seat touring, and a 4-seat lang touring. An experimental machine built for the military seated 4 soldiers and used 2 gearboxes, with the rear operated by a passenger, given 9 ratios. The lang touring model is notable for having the longest wheelbase of any production motorcycle, 3.2 meters or 10.5 feet. Around 775 total machines 775 total machines emerged from Leipzig's factory in Schollind and later in Kunratis, Sudetenland, Czechoslovakia. Factory employed 20 workers, assembling parts manufactured locally to Leipzig's specification. So as you can see, it is quite a unique model. There's quite a few modification models out there, but it was built in mind to keep heavy duty use and large passenger numbers. Number 4 is the ROKON. So having both front and rear wheel drive, the only successful example in production. So this is the only successful example of a motorcycle with front and rear wheel drive. This is actually still in production, and you can check out their websites. This was developed in 1958 by Charles Feston. Rights were then sold to Netcut Industries in 1960. All the machines were powered by a West Bend US motor Chrysler Marine 820 two-stroke engine, so it was a 134cc, while newer machines have either a Honda or Kohler engine of about 6 horsepower. Each hollow wheel is able to hold 2.5 gallons of gasoline or water for long distance trips. Among all the models produced, they have the added feature that if laid on its side in deep water, they will float. So ROKON motorcycles use a combination of belt, chain and shaft drives coupled to gearboxes to drive both the front and rear wheels. All the machines were powered by the West Bend, as I mentioned, engine, and newer ones with the Honda. So with these motorcycles, as you can see, designed for off-road, any kind of terrain, but speed definitely not in mind. But quite a unique feature. You don't see a lot of them around, and quite a unique motorcycle. Number 5 is the Quaser. So the Quaser is a semi-enclosed feed-forward motorcycle created by Malcolm Newell and Ken Lehman, who made a number of similar vehicles from 1976 to 1994. As you can see, quite a distinct look. I imagine there's going to be a lot of love or hate. I don't believe there'll be much in between. In the Quaser, the rider sits feet forward or feet first, changing the usual position of a rider from on top and straddling the vehicle to inside and sitting down. Unlike most motorcycles, the Quaser is a cabin motorcycle with a roof which goes over the rider. While normally not a problem, tall riders with larger, more modern helmets may have trouble fitting inside, although it's also possible to carry a passenger with an intimate squeeze. So very much tight for space in these models. These later Quasars were fitted with motorcycle engines, and several also have a Bob Tate designed hub central steering system, as did some of Malcolm's phasers. The later machines included several with Suzuki GS engines, both chain and shaft drive, a Honda VF750 power machine, and one of a Kawasaki Z1300 6-cylinder engine. Malcolm also produced a whole range of Quasar machines powered by engines from the Honda Goldwing and VT500 Moto Guzzi V50 and Convert Z13 and the Yamaha Liquid Cool 350s. He was working on a learning trike with 2 narrow leaning front wheels when he died in 1994, just age 54. Although the Quaser lacked funding to continue production, only 21 of the original design were ever made, with about 10 still on the road as of 2012. It is still well known in the feed-forward motorcycle community. Riders of Quaser still gather at bike meetings. So quite a rare model. It was produced in small numbers, but a bit of a loyal following on that. And again, I think this is more much a love or a hate one, whether or not you like the look. So, number 6, the Megola. So first, when you look at this motorcycle, which was designed by Fritz Cockerell in 1920, it doesn't look too unusual. Granted, it looks a slightly like an older model motorcycle. What makes it unusual, and upon closer inspection, is that it is fitted with a 5-cylinder radial engine, which is actually fitted to the front wheel. It's inside the spokes. So to bring the Megola to stop, you would actually turn off the engine completely. So quite a unique and unusual twist to motorcycles. Again, kind of in the early part of motorcycle development. So you can see where the development was. So as I said, quite interesting. It's quite a shame. It's quite a beautiful looking machine, in my own opinion, but quite a unique innovation that didn't take on. Number 7, Welbikes. So at first glance, no, this isn't one of those damn electric scooters that nearly locks you down walking around city centres. It is an older model So it was designed small and without extraneous parts in order to facilitate transport for the British military during World War II. They could unassemble, fit in a small container, and be used by paratroopers after landing in enemy territory. Their small design meant that they were underpowered, so while they did see a bit of use, they never became critical for the war effort. The simple design of the Welbike meant that it was easy and quick to produce. From 1942, went into full production for issue to airborne forces. In 1943, it was also being widely used by ground assault forces, including commandos, the Royal Marines commando units, particularly for beach landings in Anzio and Normandy. The small size of the Welbike meant it was also proved very useful as general airfield transport by the Royal Air Force, and aircrews based on large Far East airfields would stow away in a Welbike if they could find one. And there were 3 production versions of Welbike. The first 1200 were known as the Mark I and were really the developed version of the original prototype with tuned engines. They did not have a rear mudguard fitted, however. 1400 Mark II Series 1 Welbikes were produced, and these were a range of minor modifications, including the addition of a rear mudguard. The final batch of 1340 were the Mark II Series 2 and had a saddle fuel tanks with a splash shield in between them, an improved filler cap, as the original design required the removal of the pressurized pump for which this was too time consuming. So again, kind of a bit of an innovation, probably picked up in the 90s and the late 2000s now with hipsters going around on electric scooters, but quite an innovation for World War II as a small, cheap and easily fold-outable machine. Number 8, the Honda Motocampo. So similar when we touched on Welbikes, these small models are interesting. So this is Honda's answer to the ultimate urban motorcycle. It was small, designed to fold up, to be stowed away in the Honda City car. Production stopped in 1980, never sold fully while its city equivalent did, so never really picked up largely on. Released in Shetland white, Daisy yellow and Caribbean red variants, the Motocampo was introduced as a trunk bike to fit inside subcompact cars like the Honda today, and then the new Honda City. The City's baggage compartment was actually developed around the Motocampo. The handlebars, seat and foot pegs fold into the scooter's rectangular plastic body to present a clean box-shaped package of 1.185mm by 240mm by 540mm. It is the smallest scooter ever built by Honda. Ironically, more with modern developments, while this was developed in the 1980s and never done well, probably a bike that was before its age, that would have probably been far more picked up upon with commuting, as we can see with kind of modern electric scooters. So number 9 is the MTT 420RR. So this model is on our list because it boasts an unusual engine, particularly that it is actually equipped with a jet engine from a helicopter. So speed freaks galore and race bike fans would love this. The company boasts on their website that the motorcycle is race ready, and with 420 brake horsepower and 600 pound-foot torque, you would need a massively long runway to test this bad boy out. So the engine actually comes in a Rolls-Royce Allison 250C20 series gas turbine. So an absolute monster of a machine, very rare to find. But again, as to actual use on roads, etc., probably not practical, but an absolute speed freak's dream come true. Again, only in motorcycles would you have a jet engine strapped onto it. Number 10, our very last one, comes from the US of A, called the Roadog. So only 2 of these were ever built by Wild Bill Quebec in the 1960s. This is made with a Chevrolet 153 engine and shaft drive, and was constructed from a Chevy 1-ton truck differential cut in half. The motorcycle is a massive beast. The finished bike was over 17 feet in length, more than 3,200 pounds in weight. So riding the motorcycle in itself was a skill. You had to be travelling at 15 miles per hour before it could even be steered accurately. The bike became a bit of an iconic poster for bike enthusiasts. Gilbike was known for riding the bike up and down Cicero Avenue and Addison Street in Chicago in the 1960s, and he made regular cross-country trips on it from 1966 through 1978, logging over 20,000 miles in 1 year. When he died in 1978, the bikes were put into storage. Posters depicting him on the Roadog were a popular item among classic motorcycle enthusiasts. In the mid-1980s, motorcycle enthusiasts and swap meet organiser Buzz Walneck began searching for the motorcycle, finally placing an ad in his monthly magazine, receiving a tip and discovering a bike at the home of Welbikes' mother. He purchased it and has it displayed in his swap meets and motorcycle shows. Walneck later sold this bike to the National Motorcycle Museum, where it is now on display. The other Roadhog is privately owned by a Wisconsin man who bought it to ride it, but has been unable to find an insurer to cover it. Again, the reason I put this as number 10 is it was nice to finish this on what makes motorcycles is someone modifying it themselves, an absolute beyond monster of a bike, just to show exactly kind of what can be done. So that's all 10 of our unusual motorcycles. So guys, if you like this, just pop a like in the YouTube comments. I've just started this page. It'd be great to get some support. I hope you've learned a bit from this. Follow my Instagram at History of Two Wheels. I'll be uploading more as time goes on, more in-depth history of makes and models, and as well as going through more top 10s. If you have any ideas, don't hesitate to drop me a message, and I'd love it if you can give any ideas and drop a few comments down the end. Let me know what your favourite one of these top 10 were. So ride safe, guys, and until next time.